Welcome to Sounds of Brass.
Now, it's over to Peter Webster. In the Sounds of Brass newsroom, for this week's latest Sounds of Brass news.
Brass Bands England is making the halfway point of its Challenge 2030 initiative a long-term commitment to embed inclusion, diversity, equality and access, IDEA, across the brass banding movement. Launched in 2020, Challenge 2030 sets out BBE's vision for a future where brass bands better reflect the communities they serve. Now, 5 years in, both the organisation and the wider brass band community have made significant progress. BBE has expanded its team, strengthened its resources and developed deeper IDEA expertise across both staff and trustees. Inclusion is no longer seen as an add-on, but as a core part of how the organisations operate. To support this ongoing journey, BBE's dedicated IDEA work group was established to drive the work forward across the sector. Safran Ali, chair of the IDEA working group, commented by saying the past 5 years have brought impressive growth and learning. We're building from a solid foundation, and the next 5 years present a real opportunity to embed lasting change. IDEA is now at the heart of how BBE works, a significant cultural shift and one that is only just beginning. Ali emphasised that inclusion is about people and how we treat and support one another. This work isn't always easy and the conversations can feel complex. But Challenge 2030 is a bold and dynamic ambition that is inspiring real, meaningful change throughout our movement. Reflecting on his own experience, Ali added by saying, "I wouldn't be where I am today without the love, encouragement and belief of my band family. But I also recognise that this isn't everyone's experience, particularly for people from underrepresented backgrounds. That's why this work matters. Everyone deserves to feel welcome, heard and valued in banding." If you wish to find out more about the work so far and what's ahead by downloading the full Challenge 2030 progress report, as social attitudes, language and expectations continue to evolve, BBE encourages bands to keep learning and to stay encouraged. Resources are available in the BBE Member Resources Library, along with practical guidance to help bands on their journey towards greater inclusivity. BBE also invites the community to continue the conversation in person at the next General Brass Band Conference on the 27th of September in Durham. The sector-wide event will bring together individuals from across the country to share experiences, challenges, positive stories and hopes for the future. Free or low-cost tickets are available now. Join the conversation online using hashtag Challenge2030. That's hashtag Challenge2030. Members of the Pangbourne Band will be joining members of the Mid-Michigan Brass Band again this year for another tour. This is the sixth combined tour since 2012. They first started in 2012 when they did a tour of the Paris region. In 2014, they toured the Mid-Michigan region. In 2016, they toured the 4 countries of Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands and Belgium. In 2019, it was the Europa Tour, and in 2022 was the southern coast of England, Cornwall and Devon, and this year will be the Lower Michigan. A spokesman for the Pangbourne Band commented by saying, "This has been such a great collaboration over the years. As soon as this one is done, we'll be starting to plan our next tour back to the United Kingdom." Barnet came alive with the sound of youth brass on Friday the 4th of July as school bands from across the region took to the stage at Arts Depot, one of London's leading cultural venues. For the second year, Youth Fest, the non-competitive event, placed emphasis on participation, collaboration, and the pure enjoyment of music making. The audience was treated to a vibrant programme of accessible and energising repertoire, ideal for young performers and those just beginning their brass band journey. In addition to on-stage performances, bands also took part in interactive workshops run by our Brass Foundations team, offering players the chance to explore new music together and develop their ensemble skills in a fun, supportive environment. Among the event, special guests were Councillor Danny Rich, the worshipful Mayor of Barnet, who praised the commitment of the young musicians. It's a great privilege for us to be here today, not only to hear you play, but also to recognise the dedication and effort you put in. You've worked really hard, committed to rehearsals, and done all the things that young musicians must do. So my first thanks today goes to you, the performance in these bands. Barnet is honoured to have been chosen by Brass Bands England as the venue for this year's National Youth Brass Band Festival. I would like to thank Kenny and the BBE team, our local music teachers. None of this would have happened without you and, of course, the parents in the audiences today. As a parent of 4 and a grandparent, I know firsthand how deeply rewarding it is to have music in the family. I wish everyone involved all the best on your musical journey and hope you continue to gain as much as you give. Peter Yard Martin, the musical director of Barnet Youth Brass Band, also commented by saying, "We had so much fun performing at Youth Fest. It was great to be part of the larger event involving other bands. Our musicians enjoyed learning pieces by ear in the street brass workshop, hearing other brass bands play and performing our own set of pieces in front of an enthusiastic audience. The atmosphere was relaxed and encouraging, and it was wonderful to see so many brilliant young performers having fun making music together." Photos from the event can be found on the BBE Facebook page, capturing the day's energy, enthusiasm and community spirit. For youth bands looking for more performance opportunities, Youth Champs, including both competitive and non-competitive sections. The next Youth Champs takes place on 28th of March 2026 at King Edward's School, Birmingham, with entries opening in September 2025. Tickets are now available for the National Youth Brass Band Scotland's 2025 concert. Over 170 young musicians representing the future of brass banding in Scotland will be taking to the stage in the magnificent Perth Concert Hall to showcase their burgeoning talents in 2 forthcoming concerts. The instrumentalists will be performing music that they had been rehearsing during the previous week at the National Youth Brass Bands of Scotland annual residential summer course at Strathallan School, Perthshire. Led by their respective musical director Alan Fernie, John Boakes and Ian Porthouse, the National Youth Brass Band of Scotland's Children's Band concert will take place on Friday the 25th of July at 3 p.m. and the Combined Reserve Senior Band concert at 6:30 p.m. These performances will give the brass students, families and friends and local Perthshire residents the opportunity to witness how the long tradition of Scottish banding is in safe hands. The 2 bands last played in the Perth Concert Hall 2 years ago to much public acclaim. Tickets are now available on Ticket Source. 5 UK bands are collaborating on an initiative project which will commission serious new music from established composers in other genres who have not yet composed for brass band. The initiative is being spearheaded by the Cooperation Band, Corey Band, Flowers Band, Fordham's Band and Tredegar Band alongside conductor Martin Brabbins. The aim is to identify suitable composers, invite them to compose for the genre, and then commit to 5 premiere performances across the UK, 1 from each band. Richard Blackford is the first commissioned composer, with the piece being supported and co-commissioned by BBC Radio 3. Blackford ranks among Europe's leading composers for both concert and media music. His works are performed internationally, and his scores for film and television are broadcast widely across nearly every European nation. His acclaimed choral compositions, Pieta, earned the Ivor Novello Composers Award back in 2020 and continues to be performed around the world. His new piece for brass band is called Orbital, which is based on Samantha Harvey's 2024 Booker Prize winning novel. The novel, which draws upon the work and research of Carl Sagan, follows 6 astronauts aboard the International Space Station as they orbit Earth, reflecting on the subjects including the existence of nature of God, the meaning of life, and existential threats such as climate change. Schedules for the first performance of this new work are being drawn up by each band and will take place throughout 2026. It is intended that the piece is the first in a sequence of new music from established composers, and discussions with future collaborations are already underway. A spokesman for the 5-band initiative commented by saying, "We're delighted to be working on this project together. At several moments across brass band repertoire history, new voices have emerged with injected energy, innovation and new ways of thinking into our music composers such as Gilbert Vinter, John McCabe and Philip Wilby were all well established before they wrote for brass band, later on in their careers with such huge and long-lasting impact." This initiative similarly aims to discover new creative voices from outside of our movement. We are aware that there is already a huge quantity of new music for brass band, but not such an abundance of quality. One of the central objectives of this project is to create music which other bands will listen to and want to program themselves, and we are keen to work with each of the composers to introduce them to our musical world and advise them on what makes our most well-loved repertoire so frequently performed. We are extremely grateful to BBC Radio 3 for their belief in this project and assistance in funding this co-commission. Following the success of the series of brass banding with Hannah Peel, it is fantastic to see a community interested in supporting the programme music for brass bands and their broadcasting. The composer of Orbital, Richard Blackford, also commented by saying, "I'm absolutely thrilled to have been chosen to collaborate closely with 5 of the greatest brass bands in the world on Orbital. The piece is virtuosic, full of drama and contrast, and I hope good tunes as well." On Saturday the 28th of June, 10 conductors travelled from as far afield as Canada, Belgium, US and Switzerland to battle it out in the semi-finals of the Brass Band Conductors Association flagship conducting competition at Halifax, Minster. From 10 semi-finalists, Sarah Maganzini, Jan Muller, Brecht Skreppers, Edward Milacliste and Yulston Castro impressed adjudicators Katrina Marzella and Eduardo Portal conducting Hammond's band playing Elgar's House in Memoriam Arcade and Thea Musgrave's Variations to earn their place in the final. The 5 finalists went on to conduct classic film piece in the evening's gala concert with Ellen Silver Band. Sarah Magazzini confirmed her victory by delighting the audience and adjudicators alike with her impressive and enjoyable conducting of Gough Rich's arrangements of Let's Face the Music and Dance. The BBCA prize winners are first place Sarah Magazzini, in second place Brecht Scheppers, third place Edward Milacliste. Highest place went to UK entrance Sarah Magazzini. Sarah was presented with the Roy Newsom Conductor Shield, a £200 cash prize, and a year's free membership at BBC Air. She is also invited to act as understudy to Russell Gray in Foden's preparation for the Nationals and conduct them in concert. BBC Air chairman James Holt commented by saying this has been a fantastic event with entrants of an extremely high calibre, conductors shown great skill and musicality, and I'm sure they will go on to build on their performances and the feedback they received from our adjudicators. This flagship competition is a very rewarding day for the BBC Air, and we hope to continue to provide such opportunities to many more conductors in the future. My thanks goes to Katrina Mazzella Wheeler and Urado Portal, both Hammonds and Ellen Silver Band, Halifax Minster, and sponsors Yamaha. This is a competition that continues to grow in stature, and today's excellence certainly showed that. Live from the Sounds of Brass newsroom, I'm Peter Webster, and that was your weekly brass band and brass band entertainment world news.